few reminders as we get started. Make sure that you are following the guide for each day. So for day 3, we're adding 6 new spaces. We are doing a combination of tints and shades today. Make sure that you have a piece of scrap paper underneath your artwork so that way you're not getting paint on the table. If you put your paint palette in a plastic bag, you might already have your tints and shades mixed from the day before. Remember, at the end of the painting session, you're always welcome to put your paint palette in a plastic bag to save your tints and shades for the next day's painting.
Number 4, number 5. Number 5 is our pure color, so the color straight out of our jar. And number 4 is the color with just a little bit of white added to it. So we're going to start with those areas first. So for day 3 of painting, we're going to be adding our number 4s and 5s and 6s to our painting, along with some pure black, just to help spread out the areas that we are painting in.
So one of the things to keep in mind as you are working is sometimes you need 2 coats or 2 layers of a color. So when I work with my hue or my red, I'm noticing that it's a little see-through, so I'm going to have to give it a second layer or a second coat of paint. If you're working in a larger area, you might need to add another layer to your first color's edge so that it is wet enough to mix your second color with it. I find it works better to pull the lighter color into the darker color when I'm blending. If you choose to go in the reverse, be careful. If you pull the dark color into the lighter color, the darker color can overpower or take over the area and leave very little of the lighter color behind. Remember, there are 2 copies of every shape, so it should feel like you are repeating similar values in similar shapes. Be careful when you start mixing shades. One of the things to keep in mind with this is that a shade is your color plus black. You want to make sure your brush is washed very clean before you start mixing shades. If there is any white left in your brush, it will mix with the black to create gray. When you mix gray with a color, it creates what we call a tone, or a more muted or dull version of the color, instead of a shade. Remember, a shade is a darker version of the color. So we want to try and just use our color plus black when we are mixing our shades. For our number 6 shade, we're using a lot of our color and very little black mixed with it. Be careful not to put too much paint on your brush. It makes it hard to control and keep in the areas. Use the tip of your smallest brush to outline your edges for neater edges. Remember to pull your brush, not push your brush. It helps to keep the bristles together for neatness. Work slowly, take your time, rotate your paper to get better access to areas. Make sure to dry your brush after rinsing it out, or dry it on your paper towel before blending colors together. Remember, our goal is to create smooth gradients or changes between dark to light values. We are using these gradients to create an optical illusion. When we have clean, straight edges, it helps to create this optical illusion. So at the end of day 3's painting, you should have 18 sections painted in your artwork.